Story 1. Am I the asshole here for not forgiving my brother for uninviting me from his wedding? I'm in a wheelchair. My 17mm leg got amputated 3 months ago. I have not been feeling the best, and I felt worse when I got uninvited from my brother's wedding because my brother and his new wife basically told me that I would be a distraction and take the attention off of them. They didn't say distraction, but they definitely implied it. My parents were upset about this as well and were even planning on staying with me, but I told them it was okay to go. I did cry while they were at the wedding because I felt excluded, and while that was happening I felt that I didn't really want to be bothered with my brother and his wife anymore. When my parents came home, they were telling me that people were asking about and asking where I was, so I guess I was gonna be a distraction regardless. My brother tried calling me some hours after the wedding, but I didn't pick up. After that, him and his wife came by a couple of times, but I kept telling them that I didn't want to speak to either of them, and I asked them to leave me alone. I've been trying to ignore them, and they've been making it very difficult for me to do that, so I had to block them, and I know my parents are upset by this. But they said that they don't agree with what my brother did, and even told him and his wife not to come over for some time. My grandma and uncle have both called me on my brother's behalf, telling me that he's hurt I'm not speaking to him and he wants to make things right. He's planning on leaving on his honeymoon soon and invited me to go out and take me wherever I want so he could apologize because he didn't intend to hurt me. It was basically the same thing he said to me in person, but he's just now getting other people to say it too, because he sent the same things to our parents as well. The thing is, he did hurt me though, and I don't want to go anywhere with him. I don't even like going out now that I'm in a wheelchair, because I feel like people stare at me, and it's embarrassing, and I'm just hoping it gets better when I get my prosthetic. My family knows I don't like going out as it is, but I was willing to do that for my brother, because I really wanted to go to my brother's wedding, and to be excluded like that hurt. I was told to go because my brother feels really guilty, and they told me that everyone's still adjusting and he did not mean any harm because he would never intentionally hurt me. But I don't know why they keep saying that, because whether he meant it like that or not, that's how I took it. My parents are upset at my grandma and uncle for telling me that, but told me that I should still consider the offer. If I refuse to go, would I be wrong? I'm not sure how many people think what I'm doing is wrong because nobody else has been saying anything about it. Only my uncle and grandma have been vocal about it, and I don't want people talking about me behind my back because they were originally upset when I got uninvited. Comments from netizens. First comment: what in the actual hell? Your brother is a huge asshole. Who doesn't invite their own brother to their wedding because he is in a wheelchair? Especially since this only happened to you 3 months ago. How else were you supposed to take this? I'm so angry just reading that he said he didn't mean to intentionally hurt you. How much more intentionally can you hurt someone? I'm actually fuming here and baffled by your entire family's response. First of all, I know you said you told your parents to go to the wedding, but they really shouldn't have. That's them giving the okay to your brother's awful treatment of you. And not only that, your uncle and grandma are taking your brother's side and saying you hurt him by not answering his calls. This is absolute madness. I'm so sorry your family sucks and is treating you this way. You deserve better. Don't call him or let him make things right. Let him stew in his own guilt, and hopefully it ruins his honeymoon. He should feel guilty and ashamed for what he did. Your family should make him feel ashamed instead of trying to get you to forgive him for his absolutely unforgivable act. Obviously, not the asshole. Your brother sure is the biggest asshole I've come across on this sub in a long time. Second comment: exactly. Op's brother and fiancé were ableist, self-centered, offensive, insensitive, and downright cruel. OP is going through a major adjustment in life, which is still very raw, and they used his disability against him. Did they really think that his own family wouldn't miss his presence? Then they tried to insult his intelligence by saying it's not intentional. No, They are only trying to save face now because everyone saw how much of an asshole they really are. If they were sincere, they wouldn't be playing the victim, saying Op hurt their feelings by not answering the phone. Op is not the asshole. Take all the time you need to get over the hurt and betrayal of your brother. Third comment, I hope you see this, Op. I cannot stress enough how much not the asshole you are. I am happy, however, to stress how big of assholes your family is. Your brother, what more needs to be said? A brother is supposed to be a protecting factor to their younger siblings. He not only did not defend his family, he in essence shunned you for a medical procedure you will have to live with for the rest of your life. He wasn't even willing to let you share in his happiness and chose to punish you when I am betting you feel punished enough. Your new sister-in-law went full on Britazilla. You are 17 and a child. One day she may become a mother, and this shows what a horrible mom she would be should her own child show any medical maladies. She is so far up her own behind, she is crawling out of her own throat and heading back in again. Your parents, why in God's name did they leave you alone? I do not care if you gave them permission to go. They are the parents and didn't need your blessing to stay or go. By going without you, they condoned how your brother and sister-in-law treated you, and it gives rise to the fact they do not properly support you. They didn't take your side, they took your brother's. They chose an adult over the child still at home. No, you are not an invalid, and yes, I am sure you can take care of yourself. That isn't the point. They played favorites and backed the brother who is perfectly fine. Your uncle, I'm sorry. What is stock for him? Does he feel the need to back up whichever of his siblings left you home alone? Is he in the bride's back pocket? As someone closely related, he should have some perspective that you, Op, are not a toddler, nor are you a rambunctious dog. He should have seen this as wrong and either come to you or taken you out rather than make you sit at home, alone and alienated due to medical otherness. Your grandma, let me guess, your brother is the golden grandchild who can do no wrong. Maybe she really wanted a grandson dance. Can't stand the idea that your brother should deal with the consequences of his own craptastic choices. Yeah, that doesn't hold water. You are entitled to feel hurt, abandoned, and even, perhaps, unloved and unwanted. This is something you may have to seek therapy for. Yet it seems most of the people who are supposed to be your support system have instead cut you off, and all because your leg was cut off. It's sick, it's wrong, and it's heartbreaking. I have children your age, and the idea of ever letting them treat each other like that, or of me or my husband ever condoning such behavior sickens me to the core. If you need an online mama, let me know, because you do not deserve what you are being put through, and none of these people have done anything to earn forgiveness. Show your parents my response with my full blessing. Fourth comment, not the asshole. Nah, in the slightest, and I'm so damned angry for you. It's right brother is feeling guilty. So he bloody should. And TBH, I'd let him if that's what you want to do. I will also say this, it's tough, very tough, the transition between being fully able-bodied to becoming disabled. I mean that in the sense of what someone can do is altered. I lost full use of my legs in my mid-30s, and that was, and still is a struggle crutches these days, but I cannot imagine how difficult it is as a teenager. Best advice I was ever given was to grieve for who I was, accept who I am now, and then decide to give a big F you to anyone who tells you what you should or shouldn't be doing by doing what you want to do. And at 17, I really hope you can adapt. You sound like you have determination re the prosthetic, and that is a good thing. Stubbornness and determination helps so much. I wish you all the best, and please, don't let flying monkeys upset you. Story 2. Am I the asshole for cropping my sister-in-law out of my wedding photos after she said she looked fat? My wife 27F and I 28M recently got married, and it was amazing. The wedding was set on a riverside farm, and so we had photo shoots outside on the fields before the ceremony. We started taking photos around noon, and my sister-in-law 30F was one of the bridesmaids. Sister-in-law has always been a negative person since I met her, always trying to make small judgmental comments, while my wife is an incredibly kind person. They have very different personalities, so I never questioned why they aren't close and assumed that sister-in-law was included in her group of bridesmaids to appease my wife's parents. Because sister-in-law and my wife have never been very close, she was at the end of the line of bridesmaids and usually was at the edges of group photos. While taking the photos, sister-in-law was the only person complaining about things like the sunny weather and how her dress was absorbing heat. I don't know much about dresses, but it was about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Most people in the photo shoot group ignored her comments, and it wasn't an issue for the rest of the day. We got the photos of both the shoot and the ceremony from the photographer 3 weeks after the wedding. We promptly sent the photos to the people in photo shoot and told them we planned on using the photos on social media. Most people thanked us for the photos, but my sister-in-law called my wife and was very angry, yelling that she looked like a fat pig in every photo she was in and demanded that we not use any of the photos with her in them. For context, sister-in-law is bigger than my wife, but not to an extreme extent. She doesn't look unhealthy, and I've never heard her have body issues before, but I admittedly wouldn't know much about it. In the wedding photos, she really doesn't look any different from her normal self. My wife tried to reason with her, saying she looks just as pretty as everyone else, and that sister-in-law did not want to hear it. She reiterated that if we used any photo of her on social media, that she would never speak to us again and would put us on blast, whatever that means. My wife was really hurt by her sister's outburst, and I was very bothered that she thought she could tell us what to do with our special moment. Here's where I may be the asshole. I decided that if she had such a problem, she didn't need to be in the photos. I cropped her out and posted those versions to social media. I thought it would be fine, and it was easy since she was at the edge anyway. After posting, she then called me even angrier than before and accused me of trying to erase her from the memory of the wedding. I told her I only did it to accommodate her wishes while also getting to use our own wedding photos. Sister-in-law hasn't talked to us in a week. My wife's parents are mad at us for upsetting sister-in-law. While my wife is on my side, she thinks I could have been more mature about it. I don't think I did anything wrong and accommodated her already unreasonable request. So, am I the asshole? Comments from netizens. First comment, not the asshole. Yes, that is exactly what she was wanting. This reeks of jealousy. Sister-in-law hoped by denying them permission, they wouldn't be posting group photos at all. People like sister-in-law are negative for attention. Sister-in-law says she looks fat. The entire world is supposed to reassure her that she doesn't. Sister-in-law says don't post the photos. You are supposed to beg her to allow it. If she is the only holdout, then she has control, and everyone is focused on convincing her to allow you to publish the photo. Instead of playing her attention-seeking game, you cut her out of the photos. You took the power and control back and made it about you and your wife again. There is no world in which sister-in-law reacts positively to that. Now she's throwing a fit, you have to appease her again. This is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Ignore her tantrum and move on. Second comment, not the asshole. Her behavior here is probably exactly why your wife had her as a bridesmaid. She would have complained loudly to everyone about something she clearly didn't want to do in the first place. Your wife needs to learn that it is not her responsibility to manage her sister's negativity because it is never going to change. It will only drag her down with it. Sister-in-law isn't speaking to y'all. Sounds like a blessing to me. Third comment, not the asshole. She demanded that you not use the photos of her on social media. You complied. I would say that sister-in-law is used to getting her way. When her parents heard her complaints and still think you shouldn't have posted the photos, I would delete the photos with her cropped, post the photo with her in it, and don't tag her. Fourth comment, not the asshole. Imagine the nerve telling someone they can't post pictures of their own wedding on social media. It's an unfortunate fact that when you commit to be in somebody's bridal party, You might end up looking fat or terrible in photos and you just need to deal with it. I was 8 weeks postpartum for one of my best friend's wedding and I could barely fit in the dress. She was so mad at me and told me to go on a juice fast so I didn't ruin her photos. Then I cried and she cried and we both said some really nasty things to each other. However, I've forgiven her and we laugh about the juice fast comment now. And yes, I did look fat in all of her wedding photos. Years later, nobody cares. Your sister-in-law needs to get over herself. 5th comment, not the asshole. What on earth does your wife mean? You could have been more mature. In what way? You did exactly what sister-in-law demanded. Just because her little plan to prevent you from posting many of your pictures backfired, that is not your fault. You weren't rude or cruel. You posted pictures without her in them. She owes you an apology for trying to put any of the blame of this onto you. Your wife also needs to put her foot down with her parents. They are just as responsible for this mess by coddling sister-in-law and telling your wife off for upsetting her. I assume it's a pattern that's been repeated through her life. Well, no more. Sister-in-law owes you both an apology, and until she gives it, go LC with her. And the parents should be warned that they will also be in LC if they don't shape up. You're a married couple now. You're a family, they are extended family. Treating you like children is disrespectful and completely unacceptable.